Back to politics. Just been listening to a man saying something's not right. Well, of course it's not right. We voted for Brexit how many days ago now? Well, the win vote came through on the 24th of June. It's now the 5th of July. It's at 11 days. And all these people resigning, as he was pointing out. Boris has gone, Cameron has theoretically gone, but not actually. He's just gone enough not to actually push Brexit through. Gone enough not to do the job the voters voted him in to do, i.e. his boss is the electorate. And we voted. And I say he's kind of the invisible man. He's there, but he's not there. And won't do the job we voted for. Now, us Brexiters are finding ourselves trying to vote for, but of course we can't, unless we're members of the Conservative Party and have been for a number of years. We're trying desperately to get Andrea Leadsom in because she is at least in favour of Brexit. Whereas Theresa May is most definitely not to mention all her other failures throughout the time she's been in this government. There's one widely held that she didn't see a reason why paedophiles should not be considered suitable to adopt children. I can't remember now whether that's actually factually correct or not. But I remember something pretty much on those lines. And of course she sees no harm in Sharia law, which would see women beheaded and stoned and gays thrown from tall buildings, little girls having their genitals cut off, honour killings, and all the rest of it. She's all for that. In the meantime now Nigel Farage has resigned, which I must admit is the time you begin to smell a rat. I think he's the most truthful of them all, because he's saying it's to do with the zillions of death threats that he's received. Maybe one death threat in particular? This government, perhaps? Merkel, perhaps? MI5? MI6? Who knows? Death threats he's taking seriously, anyway. As I would if I were him, because these people don't care who they kill. I am beginning to get the very uncomfortable feeling that we will not escape the EU, because it would spoil the master plan that was put in action in 1945. My father was part of that master plan. Plan B, should the Nazis fail in World War II, they would win this way. I do find it hideously ironic when the Remainers call us fascists and Nazis, because that is exactly what I think of them. I don't think anyone now is going to stop little old England, or rather Britain, I do beg your pardon, except of course that it isn't, because only England and Wales actually voted out and Scotland and Northern Ireland voted in. However, we did win the day, whoever we is now. I don't think they're going to let the little old British Isles get in the way of the master plan, which is the United States of Europe. The communist stroke fascist United States of Europe, a dictatorship leading to the New World Order. They've put too much into it, including millions of Muslims flooding Europe. That is part of the master plan, which does involve white genocide. I can't remember the name of the guy who wrote in detail about that. And of course, if you say anything like white genocide, that just increases the shouts of racist, because for some reason it's all right to wipe out the entire white race, but not the black race. I'm afraid I don't quite see it that way. It would be a little bit like me being a feminist, which I am, and saying, which I'm not, we should kill all men, but it's not, of course, all right to say we should kill all women. Mind you, there is genocide going on all around the world, and it's always females. But if I were to say we should kill all men, that would be indisputably wrong, would it not? Doesn't seem to be indisputably wrong to say we should kill all white people. I don't think they're going to let us out. They're going to weasel out of this somehow. And even if Leadsom gets in, and she is another Thatcher, shit, then we're stuck with her. I've been seeing this as baby steps. First of all, we get a Brexiteer in to get us out of the EU. Should I have been careful what I wished for? Oh no, I'm not regretting leaving, no. But I can see a downside, and that is that we're trapped here on small islands with a government that's just a different kind of dictatorship. It isn't the EU dictatorship, but it could well be the Tory dictatorship. I haven't uploaded my previous video, which went into percentages. The Tories got in with 36% of the vote. 64% of the electorate didn't want them. And yet nobody ever went out in the streets saying, "Oi, oi, this isn't democratic." They've got in with 36% of the vote. No protests in London from the rest of us. Nobody putting down the people stupid enough to vote for the Tories. Nobody saying they were all senile and reactionary. Nobody saying that they really shouldn't have the vote because they're too old. They must have senile dementia. Mind you, I might well think that about Tory voters, to be honest. Andrew Leadsom is the next step to Brexit for me. That's all. Then comes a general election. I'm very unlikely. Well, if I'm alive, I won't be voting Tory. If Leadsom is another Thatcher, God help us. But we will be out of the EU. We will be out of the EU Human Rights Act as well. And what happened to ours? The Magna Carta is as good as shredded. I think there are only two or three articles on it still in action. Of course, those of us who want rid of the Human Rights Act want rid of it because we have been unable to deport mass murderers, rapists, criminals of all kinds on the grounds that they have family here. In one case, a guy didn't get deported because he had a cat here, if the headlines can be believed. The cat constituting family. That would be why, that is certainly my reason for wanting rid of the EU Human Rights Act. Will we be left with no human rights whatsoever? Well, I'm not sure that would be any different from the last 6 years. I haven't had any human rights for 6 years now. And there are a hell of a lot of people like me. People who, for example, in order to get justice, need legal aid. We can't get legal aid. people who, in order to be protected from either criminals or the police, need some kind of legal recourse, we don't have anymore. No, I'm still not writing Brexit. I'm only thinking the ins and outs of this and what game they're playing. And who, precisely? I mean, if Joe Blogs gets on Twitter and threatens Nigel Farage and his family with death, I don't think, personally, I would take too much notice if I were him. But if it was someone with the power to make it happen, such as MI5, say, I would take a lot of notice. Everybody is resigning. Everybody who made it happen. And David Cameron has only theoretically resigned. He is still there.